upped our standards. So now, up yours. The Daily Mojo.
Let's welcome in a very happily married man who has beautiful children and is the, it doesn't get any better. When you got a little bit of Cal on you, you got something good. Am I right?
I would put happily married in quotes, but yeah, sure. I'll go with that. According to my wife.
Is that like government intelligence?
What?
I think it may be. I think it may be like government intelligence. All right. So again, we're dealing with Cal on the new technology that we have here. So it might be a little choppy. We'll see. We may have to work something different out here. But he joins us each and every Friday, which again used to have meaning Friday. Now it's just 2 more days until Monday. And he has his podcast of the week. And first of all, though, Cal, how has your week been since last we spoke?
Same old, fellas. Life is grand. I will say I have a comment on your last segment about whether a man is allowed one in when a lady gets rough on that.
You mean...
Is it or is it not? Decriminalize and stay wild. That's my mother SUV. You don't have my permission to search any goddamn more.
I don't need your permission.
Go ahead.
You mean her?
Yes, I mean her. I mean, I will never justify striking a woman. I'll never say that, But there is a term called F around and find out. And women really like to test that, And I think I'm not going to say all, some women, I think, that phrase should be put to the test. If you're going to F around, you're going to find out. That's all I'm going to say.
It's man. Just again, remember, you're not waking up.
No, you're not going to search my mother car.
To raise your voice.
You're not having to wake up to that every morning. All right, now on to the important stuff. Our podcast of the week. What you got, Pally?
Okay. I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world. I don't know about you guys. Like, I like sports. I like football, but I'm not like the guy who has a favorite team and knows every stat and every player, what they did, and watching every game. But I do enjoy sports, and I enjoy the story of sports because when you hear about kind of like, did you guys watch the last? I think was it The Last Dance, the documentary about the Chicago Bull, all Dream Team?
No, but I heard it was good. I need to watch that. It's on my list.
It was amazing, and I'm not a Chicago Bulls fan. I'm not even a basketball fan. But it was amazing to hear the story of what these guys did and Jordan's role and like all that. Anyway, there's so many great stories in sports. And there's a new podcast that taps into that in a funny way. It's called Owned. And it's hosted by Rex Chapman, who is a former NBA player, big time. He played for a lot of different teams. Again, I'm not the guy that knows all the stats and all of that. But he's really funny. And he's a really great storyteller. And the way this podcast goes about it is it talks about the relationship between owners and teams and talks about the stories. Sometimes there's great owners, and these guys are billionaires. These guys aren't like, nickel and dime guys. These are billionaires who, some of them are passionate about the sport. They buy a team and they want to make it better and they want to take it to great heights. Others are just bored and want a new hobby and why don't I buy a sports team? And they aren't so good at it. So these stories are like the stories of sometimes the owner is a cheapskate and like doesn't pay for flights and makes the team ride on a bus from game to game and makes them pay for their own cleaning equipment. Other times it's a great owner who does great things. So it's these stories. It's the host, sometimes with a comedian, sometimes with another actor, or sometimes with different people talking about the owner stories. But it's also very well produced. It's sound design, it's sound storytelling, it's narrative. So it's a really fun listen. And I just listened to the one. Did you know that Russell Crowe bought a rugby team in Australia? And the story behind that? Yes, he did.
That's cool.
So,
it's a fun the thing about this is it is, if you are a sports fan, it's like these are big boys' toys, and it's like having the money to buy your, either you were a great baseball player or you weren't, but you want to have, here's my little plaything. Here's my, and good for them. I mean, they've got the money to do it, but you do hear some some horrific stories about some of these owners going back to Marge Schott. Was she on the Rams? No, the Reds. Marge Schott owned the Reds. I'm thinking of Georgia Frontiere, who owned the Rams when they were out in California. But Marge Schott, the owner of I've heard stories about her. Vince McMahon with the WWE.
She was the woman you mentioned. She was pretty racist. She was pretty racist. There was a story. One of the episodes they talk about on this podcast about her. She was. I forgot who was invited to her house to talk to her about something. I think one of the coaches, and she left him in a room and walked out for something, and he's just kind of like looking around the room, and he walks over to a desk and he pulls a drawer up, and there's a swastika armband. There's a Nazi armband in the drawer of her desk.
Wow.
And she's like, and he asked her about it. She's like, "Oh, that's just some old memorabilia. Nothing to see here." So,
well, to be fair, some people do collect Nazi stuff. And some people collect, those little the what do they call them, lawn jockeys in the South. Do you ever see any of those?
We've got a neighbor near us that's got them.
Is it still with the black face?
Yeah, but apparently they're copper,
wow.
And that's why they're black, because they've.
Yeah, no, the original ones aren't. I think they're concrete, and they were all painted. When I moved to Nashville, a bunch of people had those. I'm like, wow, okay. Whatevs. Now this sounds really cool, Cal. This is nice. This is the looks like the Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets. Did you listen to the one where Amy? My dyslexia got the best of me there because I looked at it 4 times and I thought it said Amy Schumer and it says Amy Schneider. Okay, so that's much better than Amy Schumer, and then it's also co-hosted with Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. So this is very cool. So it's called Owned with Rex Chapman. And you said you don't know much about his sports career?
He was a former NBA player. He played for like a bunch of different teams. I'm not 100% familiar with him, but he's a big
he was the one that played. He played for the Denver Cowboys, didn't he? Wasn't he the tight end?
No. Did basketball. He was a basketball player, Brad. You can't get
they have
me.
tight ends in basketball,
sports, but I do know the difference between football and basketball.
He was the goalie in the NBA, right?
I believe he played for the Heat, and he played for the
good for you. I almost got you. Ron would have fallen for that.
I probably would have.
All right. Okay. So before you go,
unicorn.
Okay, well, there you go. There you have it. Just before you go, is it safe? And can you just turn the camera on once and just turn it around just so we can see your pretty face just once before you go? Is that possible?
Driving my car. All right, if I crash, you.
But here's the beauty of it. If you do crash, we have the last known image of you, and we can sell the hell out of that. Ron, did he...
See in the car.
Oh, look at that. See? Very nice. I just...
Like that.
That is kind of pretty out there, up in Jersey. All right, get off the phone. Thank you for being a part of the family as always. You are, of course, my favorite dude of your kind. You know that.
See you, Cal.
There it is. There's Cal's podcast of the week. It's called Owned with Rex Chapman.
The First Amendment lives here. Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.